Women and girls in America face a mountain of challenges. Not only do we deal with the daily struggles of work and school, we also have some very unique challenges. There's cultural beauty standards and body image issues, higher rates of depression, less pay for the same amount of work, and just the legacy of generations of gender inequality. For women, this is a daily struggle. We undergo and see these obstacles in our lives all the time, but for girls who are just starting on this journey, who are at the base, so to speak, this really seems insurmountable. Where do I begin? Where do I go? How do I start? You know, the mountain analogy actually is pretty good. Let's think about this for a second. Say you wanted to get to the top of Mount Rainier. There's definitely some things you'd have to do to get there. You would need the support of your friends and family because that's where you draw your strength from. But on its own, probably not going to be enough to get you to the top. Now, you know people have done it before because there's historical examples of people who have reached the summit. So you have a fairly good idea that it's possible. One of the first things that you might want to do is talk to people who have done it before, especially if you can find people who share your experiences and your own struggles. So you're going to want to find a mentor to be able to talk through the journey, to be able to understand the things that might come up along the way, and to hear how someone else was able to bypass and overcome those obstacles. You might be able to reach the top on your own, but you're going to be a lot more likely to be successful if you have a group of peers with you. Peers who share your same goal and want to reach the same summit. Not necessarily your friends, but people with you can draw a group strength and who will be able to support you if something goes wrong. You probably also want to get some formal education, something where you can know just the basics of what mountain climbing is, what a mountain is, and really just how to understand the foundation of the piece that you're trying to accomplish. You might also want to brush up on sort of the softer skills, leadership skills, communication skills, how to stay cool under pressure, how to deal with conflict that might arise in the team. And you're definitely going to want to go and pick up your essential toolkit. Make sure that you have all the tools that you need to succeed, the emergency bucket, all that kind of nifty stuff, to make sure that you're going to be able to climb the mountain and have the tools you need as you go. As girls start out on their journey to climb their mountain of oppression, they do have some advantages. We've kind of closed the education gap, and so test scores and graduation rates and grades between boys and girls across the board in subjects are almost gender neutral. But where do we find the rest of it? Where do we go for mentors and the resources to fight gender oppression and all of these different pieces? There's no one-stop achievement shop. But there are organizations that are working together in order to fill the gap that's left between traditional education and the skills that girls really need to succeed in this gendered world. Community children's programs like the Boys and Girls Club of America provide fun and educational after-school activities to help kids achieve lifetime success. They provide access to technology, study groups, and activities where boys and girls can learn leadership, communication, and teamwork skills. Third-wave feminist movements have endeavored to build conscious-raising coalitions that support girls' success in a gendered society that has a legacy of limiting female achievement. So what would happen if you combined feminist theory, service-based activism, community involvement, and after-school programs? The Al Davies branch of the Boys and Girls Club of South Puget Sound and University of Washington Tacoma partnered to build the GirlsView program. University students meet with a group of 6th grade girls to discuss the social constructions of gender, body image, bullying, and the ways in which the media and gender inequality impact their lives. The GirlsView focuses on providing the resources needed to overcome barriers facing girls in society, the reason why girls' experience of the world may be different than boys, and how to cope with and overcome problems unique to a girl's point of view.
The thinking behind the GirlsView program was hopefully to get some leadership from women, from a diverse group of women, which absolutely happened. The women that came in to speak with the girls and build relationships with them were from all types of diversity. They were from different places. Some were from Tacoma, so they could connect with the girls on that level. Some of them went to the same schools that they attend. Some are of the same national origin as them. Some weren't. Some were older, younger. So they listened to the same music as they did. Some listened to different music. So they could relate to the girls, and then they could also show a different side as well. But But what I really wanted the women to show the girls is leadership, and that they can do anything that they want to do, and to show who they are and who they are as a woman in society. And they came and they did that, and as you've seen, the girls took something back from that. They probably talked and touched on every topic and every theme that there was every week. And so just to build them up and let them know it's okay to be you. You don't have to be anybody else. You don't have to look like anyone else. You are fine. You are strong. You are, and they just continue to move along with that theme the entire time.
How do we define girlhood in order to discuss it? Part of the problem in defining a category is that you either create or reinforce those stereotypes that are the basis of inequality. Are you defining difference or creating it based on the perceived differences that we all learn from history, culture, and society? The UWT students decided to tackle this issue early on in the GirlsView program.
Social constructions of gender, male and female gender, and how society influences our behavior in ways that we don't even recognize because it's just so normalized in our society. It's just everyday life. And so what we did, we broke up into two groups, and we had one was the girls group and one was the boys group, and they got to go up to the wall, and on their poster boards they could write anything they wanted under the boys, and the other group could write anything they wanted under the girls to describe girls. And so then we let them do that for about 10 or 15 minutes, and then we pulled them back and we looked at it, and we said, okay, so we're saying boys are da 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 da, girls are da 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 da. Are there any of these that are interchangeable? Can like girls be tough? Can guys be pretty? And so we were picking a few of them.
So we had the girls break down all of these stereotypes that we hear or that we see in media or society or from our peers, and it went over really, really well. They loved it. We couldn't get them off of the whiteboard, but it was great, and we learned new words, new language, and it was nice because we thought that they were going to say, oh, only girls can do this and only boys can do that, when really a lot of it was interchangeable when we switched the words around. And the girls had a great time, and I felt it was really insightful.
The activity helped girls look at their own expectations of themselves and others, and start to critically evaluate their ideas about girlhood and the differences between boys and girls. Were these based on fact or hegemony, widely held cultural beliefs that are rarely questioned? The girls enthusiastically embraced the concept that these categories weren't static, that they were interchangeable. They defined girlhood. It did not define them. Women in media adhere to strict beauty standards. She's perfect, and perfectly unrealistic. According to the National Association of Anorexia and Associated Disorders, 69% of girls said that magazine pictures had influenced their idea of a perfect body shape. Eating disorders have the highest rate of mortality among any mental illness, and anorexia-related death rates are 12 times higher than any other cause in women. However, size isn't the only thing that matters. Cindy Crawford once stated, "I wish I looked like Cindy Crawford," and she was referring to the amount of alteration that her photos undergo prior to print. It's easy to brush this aside. Who doesn't want to look good in a picture? The issue is that these images are our culture's standard of beauty, and no amount of saying it's unrealistic will change the fact that these are the predominant means by which girls judge their appearance. Do the girls really understand that the images they see are portraits, not pictures, of the women and girls on the magazine?
So what we decided to do is to bring in fashion magazines of all sorts and to have them go through them and show us what beauty is, what a beautiful body is, what beautiful hair is, what a beautiful face is, and sort of develop a conversation from what they thought beauty was.
And we put all of these images up so they could see tons of them at once, and then we went through and talked about what they saw, what they didn't see, how that made them feel, why they didn't see what they didn't see, and why they only saw what they saw. We wanted to make them aware that there's only a specific type of beauty that gets sold to them, and that is not the only type of beauty by far that there is. And I think they accomplished seeing that mostly when we were there, and that is definitely something that's pretty big, and it does fit in with the body image issue. Now that they're more aware of it, they could start thinking when they see that magazine how it makes them feel and why it makes them feel that way, instead of just being like, oh, this magazine, I don't look like that, so I'm obviously not the right way, or I'm an awful person, or I don't fit in. They can start to look at it and understand why and what's the purpose of that magazine and who really does fit into this category that they're trying to get sold to them.
So we had Beyonce and Sofia Vergara and Frida Pinto, photos of them on covers of magazines where their skin tone had either been lightened or darkened or changed in some fashion. And that was a real shock to the girls. I think they really got it then, that there is this concerted effort to deceive them. Beyonce in particular was on the cover of Ebony, and in the L'Oreal ad, and the cover of Ebony, she had her hair in an afro, and her nose was actually different than the one for the L'Oreal ad, and that was really shocking to them, and I think profound in some way, that what they were told was beautiful wasn't even real. It was just this construction.
One with the beautifulness, like seeing how it made me mad, because it's like how these girls are put on camera and taking pictures, but they can't be their real self. They have to be, it's like dress up game.
Mm-hmm.
They have to put makeup on them, put like foundation on them, and a whole bunch of makeup like all over the face. Like really tell you, they don't look like real people. They look like clowns. That's what I call them, clowns. They're Photoshop clowns. Because the thing is that like, why can't they just be themselves? Like Beyonce, it made me really mad that she would let them do that to her, because she's a beautiful black girl, and to see them like, because the woman on the box, she was white, and white people are beautiful to me too, and it just made me mad, because like, why can't you just be yourself? Why are you gonna let them tell you how you need to be, what your skin color needs to be in the picture, how your makeup needs to be? No, if they're not gonna take you for who you are, then you need not to be in that magazine. Because if it was a real photographer or somebody like that, they would let you be yourself in there and let you show your true beauty, and not your, it's beauty, but it's not your true beauty. It's like a mask. It's a mask.
One of the girls when we were doing the magazine, like tearing the stuff out, told us that wasn't real beauty because it was photoshopped, and sides were liquefied and people were made skinnier and taller. And that was a really important point, and that's actually the main point of the little blurb in the magazine, is that this is a real beauty magazine because we didn't do any of that stuff. And I thought it was pretty empowering for them to go and handle a DSLR and take their own pictures and then put it in their own magazine.
Fashion magazines present an image of who young women are, what they look like, how they act, and what their interests are. And girls aren't the only audience listening. In order to boost girls' interest in science, the European Commission created a commercial depicting high-fashion teens coquettishly flitting around a science lab filled with images of makeup in order to appeal to the young female audience. From the perplexed male scientist in a lab coat to the go-go dancing, gasping teenagers being awakened to fashionable science, the girls were interested, just not in the way the commercial intended. With their new lens of media literacy, they had a keen eye for the subtle messages embedded in this commercial.
Well, like the girls, there was like a guy in the video, and he was like actually doing something to show something like about science, but the girls, they were just like walking around like they were modeling or something like that, and they weren't really doing anything to show that science was for girls. Like at the end, it hit me because they said science is for girls, and I was like, but the girls really didn't show anything to say that, like to show us that science was for girls. Like there was makeup in the video, and just it wasn't giving me the thought that it was a video to show girls that they can do science. Yeah.
Like they're walking around in hills and like posing.
Science. It's a girl thing. It's a girl thing.
While body image may not be the direct cause of bullying behavior, it certainly provides a vulnerable area of attack. Programs like the GirlsView provide a safe place to talk, to be vulnerable and share, to validate experiences and work on solutions. Issues like body image and bullying lead to stress and depression. Being open about bullying helps girls gain self-confidence, fortify self-esteem, and promote their personal worth. By working together, they learn how to advocate for themselves and each other.
Our girls face a lot of bullying, a lot of drama, tearing down each other, a lot of peer pressure when it comes to relationships, trying to grow up too fast, things of that nature. So there's a lot of cliques and a lot of, the pretty girls are over here and then the sport girls are here, and they just kind of pretty much just like a crab bucket. They just kind of pull each other down. If you're not wearing the right clothes, the right shoes, your hair's not right, you're pretty much not a part of a certain group. So that's kind of what the girls are going through.
Project on mean girls and bullying. So pretty powerful. We broke the girls into 4 smaller groups, with each one of us from UWT taking one group, and had one girl draw a silhouette around the body. And then we talked about what is a mean girl, and we wrote all of those things around the exterior of that body image. And then we asked ways that the girls could, what makes them feel better, and ways that they could help themselves to feel better about after being inundated with bullying, or ways that they could help others. And then we wrote those things on the inside of the body. And the idea was that if we can fill each other up, and we have resources where we can fill ourselves up with those positive messages, that will help us to combat all of the negative messages that we receive from people at school, from other adults, and even from society in general, that tells us that we're not good, that we are not as good as we need to be, or that we're not conforming to what everyone wants us to be. And so if we have those messages inside that say, no, we are good, and help us to put stronger messages over the negative messages. We learn so much when we are open to learning from others, and it doesn't matter if someone is your age or older, younger, there's wisdom. And the day that we were doing the Mean Girls, some of the boys kept coming in, and we have one young person in the group, Tay, and the boys were saying, Tay, you don't belong here, this is about girls, this is for girls. And I went up to Tay and just put my hand on her back, and I said, you okay? She goes, yeah, I'm fine. They're mean, and they don't know. And I thought, wow, this young person is really wise beyond their years. And I don't know if I, even today, would have had the strength to, stand there and be openly transgendered, openly outside of what is conforming to society's norms, and have people of my peers, interjecting such negativity on me and say, no, I'm okay, they're stupid. I was just blown away.
The GirlsView program helps the girls address real-life issues of girlhood, break through gender stereotypes, and address problems of self-esteem and self-confidence. It provides an arena to practice open and honest communication and promote learning from and advocating for each other. The girls are grappling with difficult concepts. Why do people bully? Why is difference so important, and what is difference? While they sometimes struggle to articulate their feelings, their self-awareness and understanding is astounding. People have different experiences, people have different opinions and lifestyles, but at heart, we're all struggling with fears and insecurities, and we have to recognize our commonalities as well as our differences.
For me, most of the time, when people see me smile and stuff, you see how we met the person smile, you just see a smile on their face, you don't know, behind that smile. And like for me, I like I'll smile, but then I'm hiding my hurt behind that smile because like I don't want to show that I'm hurt, so that I'll just smile about it. Like, but it really does hurt people when people like bully them and stuff because like you don't know what they've had to deal with in their life. And the thing that I don't like is when somebody tries to judge somebody else. Like that really hurts me. Of their color, of their race, of something that they heard about them, like he said, she said stuff.
How are you gonna call me ugly and call me this kind of names and you're the same person? You have the same eyes, you have the same lips, you have the same thing. We're like, we're God said we're sisters, like brothers and sisters in a different race. It doesn't mean about the color outside, it means about inside. Okay, we are light inside. So we're the same personality. We're the same personality, you have the same thing. But I don't get that. I really don't. Like, people are saying this about somebody and they don't realize that they're the same. Like, they're the same race. They have the same race. And like people say, oh, you're white, and inside of you, you're the same. Like, you're black, you're burnt, you're charcoal, you're just okay? You're big, you're fat, you're dumb, you're medium. Like, that hurts. Like, if somebody ever called me that, like, somebody called my mom dark one time, and she's not even really dark, but it's okay because you're the same color as my mom. What are you talking about? How are you gonna call my mom dark and you're the same color, and you call yourself light skinned?
Exactly. Oh my
Like,
gosh.
That just makes me just mad. You call yourself light skinned and you're calling my mom dark and you're the same color. Like, you need to go somewhere. Learn some vocabularies for real, because you don't. And then like people saying that I'm gonna get on your head, but you're not even getting on people's head. You're just making them feel bad. Like sometimes I do that too, but I'm gonna tell the truth. Everybody does it. Like everybody calls themselves. And I think the program is making it better because so you can make choices. So make the choices right, and you can make different patterns.
The Girls' View is focused on results, making a lasting, positive difference in the girls' lives. Emphasis on decision-making skills, communication, and resiliency provide a greater understanding of real-world situations they'll face as young adults. The adult mentors in the program work with the girls as facilitators, not necessarily teaching, but guiding the girls to find answers together. To achieve success, girls need to build skills around self-esteem and confidence, skills that are much more readily taught by doing than by listening. The skills they learn in overcoming personal obstacles and building coalitions cannot be overstated. These programs teach girls how to cope with the realities of our gendered society. Exit surveys for community-based after-school programs report significant increases in self-confidence, self-esteem, and good decision-making skills. Programs like GirlsView raise consciousness surrounding inequality, provide a safe environment to address these issues, to learn important life skills and interact with peers and adults that experience similar concerns. These programs address a gap in traditional education that fails to prepare girls for the reality of a gendered world. As the young women participating in these programs move into secondary education and professional careers, we can hope this experience will help them find success in adult life.
It brought the girls closer together. Even the girls that go to different schools, that could be a separation, but just the way that they look or what type of household they are in can be a separation. But the group actually really brought the girls together, and it wasn't about that anymore. It wasn't about the way your hair looked. It wasn't about the tone of your skin, if you were light skin or dark skin, which is an issue. None of that mattered in the group. In the group, they were just girls and enjoying themselves. And then outside of the group, they ended up being girls enjoying themselves. And what you would see is that it's more like a sisterhood now. It's more like everyone is just, they're coinciding, none of the drama. There was a few issues, but it was from one school to another school type of thing, and girls from outside. But now the girls are more unified, and they appreciate each other, and that's probably because of what the women were able to come and show them the potential that they all had inside themselves. So it's a much better cohesive environment now here in the club.
One girl had a light bulb go off, and she I don't know if upset is the right word, but it touched her in a way where you can see that she got the connection to what we were really trying to say. She got the message. So it wasn't just like modules and games for her. She's like, oh, I can relate this to the real world.
Little light bulbs go off where they're realizing that maybe a way that women are referred to isn't right, or that how we socialize gender, oh, that's in every aspect of our culture, or just the messages that we are inundated with as women, that we don't have to conform. So seeing just little flickers and sometimes light bulbs going off has been really rewarding.
I think they're going to remember because it does apply to them. So as they get older, you know, they'll have that stuff in the back of their mind. They already know, and I didn't have that. So I think about it now that I've learned it. So I think they're kind of have that opportunity. So.
It was like sneaky activism, because I don't think they realized it was activism, but it was. And I feel like every group left a little mark with these girls, and these girls are going to take what they learned into the future, and they might not judge other females or males with what we used to judge girls with.
So do you want to have a go with it? Do you guys want to ask each other any questions?
Let me ask, Selzanai, what about you? How did this, this group help you?
Like, they taught me that, like, even if you're fat or skinny, you're, like, beautiful in any way, and yeah. What about you?
Me? I don't know. They taught me to be myself. Yeah. That's all I can think of.
What about you? I'm just kidding. They taught me how to like believe in myself, how to be stronger. Don't just fail. Like you gotta like pick up. You gotta go on the right track or path. Go on the right track and path and stay.
Two points stuck out. They like our snacks, and girls who had never considered coming to UW-Tacoma, and I'm going to cry now, never considered going to college. That was something that they were considering and are considering, and so for us to be that access point and for them to now see that they have another pathway, another option, and that is what UW-Tacoma is all about, and I can't think of a greater outcome than having young women aspire to come to college.
And not only just, visiting the campus because they had this experience here, but it's because they had the experience here and building the relationship with the classmates and with you. It made it more real, like physical, like, wait, I can attend there, and now I'm like, wait, I think I want to attend there. Yeah. And so they're really excited to see UW-T, and you saw they want to tour and they want to know what programs you have there. And so this is the first time, we visited colleges before, on college tours, but this is different because we made a connection, and they saw all the different types of women, and they saw women that looked like them.
The GirlsView program gave the girls opportunities to learn and grow, and it made a strong impact on the UW-T students as well. This was theory and application, service and activism. Just as more programs like a GirlsView are needed to help girls navigate gender inequality, more curriculum like the Seminar in Service-Based Learning, A Feminist Approach, is needed to bridge the gap between theory and action.
I think when I came into this class, I didn't know how impactful this would be, because coming into a group of younger girls and you're talking at them, I figured that they'd be like, yeah, whatever, that's cool, but I'm gonna go do this because this is more immediate. But they really seem to latch onto it, and it's kind of like, it doesn't take something that's like giant and hitting them over the head with it. We showed them things that they've already seen, and just gave them a little bit of leeway, and they completely ran with it. So it's not like you need to completely reshape your way of thinking to look at something. It's just something small that starts with that.
I'm not gonna lie, when I went in, I did first think, okay, they're gonna be these evil preteeny type girls, because that's what I experienced, and I might hold some grudges against that from my childhood, but being around them, they're not mean, they're not bratty or stuck up, they're really bright, they're intelligent, they are well spoken, they know what they're talking about, they don't get distracted very easily either, and they participate because they want to learn. I think that was the one thing I got from them was kids still want to learn, and I think that not just for girls but for boys too, we always say, oh, they're just in school because they have to be. These girls are striving to get in that knowledge, and it was nice. It was a nice surprise, and I was shocked. So I feel like the course was a growing mechanism for us, the students in the classroom. So once we knew that we were going to go and teach the girls, yeah, we expected them to learn and grow from it, but I know a few of us in class have grown from it as well. Everyone has talked about personal experiences and how they felt when they were that age, and it might have been a little bit nerve-wracking, which by the second time around for every group going, everyone was comfortable and we knew what was going to happen. And so not just learning from the class, but growing from the experiences is something that we'll all take with us.
I think the biggest impact it had, because we knew we were going to be going to talk to the girls when we were doing our readings, no matter how technical they were, we knew that we were going to have to break it down for them. And we also knew, and also thinking about the girls while you're doing the reading makes you realize just how early and often all of this stuff is thrown at their faces constantly. It's just a barrage of gender socialization and of everything being thrown at them. And it makes it very real when you know that it's not just us as women who are dealing with this stuff, but 12-year-old girls who are dealing with this stuff.
I like the fact when a professor takes the readings and does something with it. It's not just, okay, read, write a paper, turn it in, final project, here's your test. I don't feel like people learn as well than making it hands-on. So courses like this, where it's hands-on and you're working with other people and you're seeing the results, which is comparing it to the reading, is probably the best way to learn.
You don't often encounter classes where everyone is as engaged and respectful. And I don't just say that to give it lip service. This class has really bonded, and maybe it's because we're the first and we're kind of pioneering something new, but there are women in this class that I know are going to be my friends and collaborators in other aspects of my schoolwork and in my life here at UW-Tacoma. And it's very rare that you have those relationships built in less than 10 weeks. And I think we have had some conversations about issues that have gone very deep, and we all feel safe.